Hello, and thank you for joining the Voice of Many podcast with your host, Yolanda, and co-host, Vanessa. Thank you so much for joining us today. With the economy and the situation that it is, with the stock market being down, the cost of living continues to increase with no decrease at all in sight. Today, even when you look at retirement, you have to wonder if it's even in the cards for you. Our guest today is here to help provide some assistance for everyone. We want to welcome to the Voice of Many podcast show, Mr. Troy Holt. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Yolanda and Vanessa. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be here. I'm not for sure how you want us to start, but you can ask me some questions, whatever. Okay. I'm ready. But I do truly appreciate the opportunity to come and share the message and my passion about financial literacy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Because like I say, it is definitely needed. And if you will provide our listeners with a little bit of your background, a little background information.
Sure. So I've been in this industry about 22 years. Originally started with American Express Financial Advisors, and I had an insurance license and a stockbroker's license. Currently don't have the stockbroker's license. I had it for a few years. So I strictly insurance license. I'm licensed in 17 states. And what the thing that I found, so let me share some numbers with you. And this is really, really important for the African American community. And I'm not saying any other community doesn't need financial education or financial literacy, but especially the African American community. And one of the things is that people don't understand is that in our community, but let me give you some statistics. So the median net worth, the net worth is assets minus liability. The median net worth for a white family is $189,000. If it's a Black family, it's $24,000. I did not make any mistakes on those numbers. 189, 24,000. If it's a single Black female household, the median net worth is only 7,000. So it goes even lower with the single Black female household, 7,000. Not only that, in America, for every dollar that a white male makes, a white female makes 82 cents on the dollar. If it's a Black female, she makes 68 cents on the high end, 58 cents on the low end. So a white male makes $1, a low end on a Black female is 58 cents for every dollar. But on top of that, Black women are some of the most educated women in America. They've been told, to improve your lot, go to school, get an education, get some certificates, but they carry the most student loan debt and get paid the least.
True.
And so these are things that I'm passionate about. There's a gender gap, there's a racial wealth gap. And people ask, what are some of the problems? So there's kind of four problems here. Number one, if you go back and look at our history as a group of people, the government, it was a thing called redlining, where we were not able to buy houses in certain areas, and it was a red line. The government wouldn't allow these houses for us to buy houses in area, and so also in those areas, the housing was lower, the property value was lower. They got less money for taxes, for schools, and things like that. So you have the government is one issue. Then also corporations. The corporations didn't loan to us, didn't give us the opportunities. But also you have the other issue is society. Society didn't want us in certain areas, certain communities, neighborhoods. And then the fourth prong of that is us. Some of the problem is us. We can't put it all on other issues. Some of the problem is us. We don't take our finances seriously. We don't take education. Many times we say we don't have the money, but we are some of the biggest consumers, and we need to be more producers and more wealth. So it's a four-pronged problem in the issues why we have it. And so I have a passion to be able to, if I can just help one, to be able to close that wealth gap.
That's so true.
So we know that over 90% of Americans right now are having a hard time keeping that, how do you say, their biggest financial tailspin right now, especially with COVID and everything else. And like my mom said, everything is going up. How are they also supposed to keep that $400 emergency money in there? Because a lot of us cannot do that at all.
Yeah. So, there's a number of challenges. Again, I said, if a black male is 76 cents on the dollar, so a black male gets paid even less. Some of that is we don't make a lot of money. We get paid some of the lowest jobs and lowest positions. What I do tell people, and everybody can do this, one of the simplest, the first thing they can do, the most simplest things they do is to pay themselves first. And what I mean by that, now I'm a man of faith, so I'm gonna pay God first, but I'm gonna also pay myself. And so people say, well, how much should I pay myself? It doesn't matter. The amount doesn't even matter. It's the mindset and the discipline. So if you start with a nickel, put away a nickel every paycheck. If it's $1, whatever it is, the amount is not important starting out. It's the mindset and the discipline. And so every time you get something, put it away. Now, it may be times that what you put away, you have to use it because you're short somewhere, but at least you've gotten in the mindset and the discipline of put it away. Now, if you want to put away and say you want to accumulate $100, if you can't put away $1, you never get to the $100. So I tell people if they start somewhere, 10%. Now, normally what I do is I put 10%. I put away 10%, and technically it's probably about 70%. The other 70% I get to spend because about 20% goes to the ministry. And so I tell people, pay yourself first. That's the first thing. Is I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's a dime, I don't care if it's $5. Just get in the habit of doing that. And if you can, set it up where it's automatic, withdraw or go directly into your bank. That way, you won't have the temptation of spending it. Right. So we've got to figure out ways to increase our income, but we also got to pay ourselves. And then on top of that, when we get increases, we can't go spend and splurge. Now, I tell people, I think it's healthy and wise, every now and then you do something for yourself. It's kind of like if you go on a fast or somebody is binging from drugs and then they get back and then they go back. So every now and then, do something special for yourself because you accomplished this. But we've got to pay ourselves first and figure out ways to generate more income. And one of the ways is starting a side hustle or side business to generate a secondary income. But don't spend it. Now you got to take it and either put it back into that business or put it on saving. I wouldn't even necessarily recommend putting it all on debt. You do want to pay those debts down, but you still need to have something in savings. Because if you have, for an example, if somebody got a lump sum of money, I've told people this, so they they got a lump sum of money and they got a mortgage. So they say I want to pay the mortgage off. Why? Now it may be a time that it may be the perfect strategy, but now you're cash poor. All you got is a house. You don't have no liquid asset. You could sell the house, or you could reborrow. You may have to go back and reborrow. So you don't have nothing if you need cash to do something. So if you pay it off and you cash poor, why do that? You may not live there, but 5 years and then you refinance or sell it. So why tie your money up in the house? Put it in other areas that you can liquidate it and use it. That's just my strategy or philosophy. I hope that answered the question, Vanessa. I know I went a long way around.
that was good. So what would you say is the biggest financial crisis in America right now?
It is the financial illiteracy. That's the biggest crisis.
Biggest thing. Okay.
And I think the second thing is financial illiteracy. But the second thing is, I think, is not implementing what you've learned.
Okay.
So many times we gather information, we get education, but we don't implement what we learn. We put it off and we procrastinate. And so that ends up hindering us. So I think the first thing is getting educated. And then second thing, implementation.
Okay.
So for in a few short months, tax season is going to get ready to come up. What is one of the most underutilized financial program or legal avoidance that we could use to help us in any kind of way?
Probably a cash value life insurance policy. And here's the reason. There's different types of insurance. So you have term and you have permanent. And so the simple way to understand the two, term is like renting a home, permanent is like owning a home. Term means period or time or temporary, and permanent means your whole life, as long as the premiums are paid. Term doesn't build cash or equity, permanent build cash or equity. Term tends to be less costly. Permanent is going to be a little bit more costly. But here's what I like about the permanent side. And there's different types of permanent, so not all perm is equal. But there's a permanent policy called an index universal life. It's not for everybody, but it's a policy that, number one, you can put, so right now, for an IRA, you can put $6,000 a year in. You can put more in a 401k. But number one is you could put more than that $6,000. It depends on how much death benefit you get. So you can put more than $6,000. That cash in that policy grows tax deferred. Not only that, the cash in the policy, when you're ready to take it out, you want to, the withdrawals are tax free. There's a certain way you do that, but it's tax free. So you grow, so it may grow $500,000 and it's grown tax deferred, and you can take distribution tax free, done properly. Not only that, this same policy is if you have children that are getting ready to go to college and you have to fill out a financial aid, it's not counted against the FAFSA app because it's not considered an asset, even the cash you got built up in there. Okay. Also, you can take out a loan provision within the policy. That's how you get the cash tax free. But within that loan provision, you don't have to qualify. You don't have to prove it's your money. You can borrow the money. And then another reason is because it's exempt. Not all states, but most states, it's exempt from creditors and lawsuits. So not all states, you have to check the states. So it has those exemptions. But then on top of that, you have a death benefit in the event the one that is insured, if you pass, your family or beneficiary get the death benefit. Then on top of that, you have on riders, not on all of them, but on certain ones, you have a rider. So if you have a critical illness where you had a heart attack or a stroke, you can get cash from the policy, from the death benefit to pay bills or whatever you want. A doctor has to sign off on it. So you have all these benefits and you can kill 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birds with one stone. That's what I like about the index universal life. Now, it's not for everybody, and everybody, there's philosophies and people agree and don't agree, but that's what I like.
It's interesting. Very interesting. Like to know more about that,
Sure.
especially with the way things are now. I know they're hard, and that's a fear with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now is that, well, how you expect me to be able to do this and I can barely make it now? That goes back to the knowledge and the
I got a solution. So back to Vanessa's question. She mentioned about tax time. Single mother, hypothetically, she get $8,000 back in taxes. Okay. So first of all, hopefully she has some life insurance on herself. Okay. But $8,000, take $2,000 of that money, drop it in an index universal life policy, but write the policy on the child. The reason being because you write the policy on the child is because the cost of insurance is less on a child. So your money is going to work better for you because the money is on the child and not on the adult. For me, I'm 55. It's going to cost me more. My money's not going to work. as fast and better because of my age. Because the older you get, if you got health issues, it costs you more for the insurance. So put it on the child. And if she do that, let's say she do that 5 years, she's put $2,000, she's got $10,000 in that policy, and that policy could sit and just grow. And that child gets 60 with that compounding, it could be $500,000, $1 million. And we call that strategy the $1 million baby, leaving your child $1 million because you. And so that's not a lot of money. Just instead of spending on all other stuff, that $8,000, take $2,000 and just drop it into that policy.
Okay. All right. That was good. So let me ask you this. Can you share with us a little bit about, I know we're covering a lot of information here, but can you share with us what is the rule of 72 and how it's very important in playing a role in our lives today?
Okay. So the rule of 72 basically is this. You take the interest rate of whatever you get in. So let's take a number, say, so give me a number. Interest rate. What is, so let me ask you this. What's a savings account?
1.6.
1.6. All right. So you take 1.6. Hold on. Let me get my calculator out. If I can get in my phone.
I got you. Go ahead.
So take 1.6, and this is one of the eighth wonders of the world. It's a little mental math. So take 1.6 and divide it by 72.
Okay, you got 0.022.
0.022. So you take that, or did we flip it around? Hold on, make sure we did it right.
72.
Wait a minute, we might have did it the backwards.
Oh, so that should have been 45.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So 1.6 interest rate you're getting is going to take you 45 years for your money to double.
Okay.
So you take the interest rate that you're getting and divide it by 72, and that tells you how long it's going to take your interest to double. I mean, your money to double, 45 years. Now, the average savings account is getting 0.09%, not even 1%.
Yeah.
So if you take that and divide it by 72, I think it's 800 years. No, I'm sorry, it's 0.1, I think maybe 800 years for your money to double. So leaving your money in all your money in a savings account is not the wisest thing. National banks is giving you 0.01%. CDs, you may be getting 1 or 2%. So that's how long it takes your money to double. And so part of that is educating people is how can you get a higher interest rate in your money so it doubles quicker. So if you take that same 72 and divide by 6, you're getting 6%, which is conservative. It's going to take your money 12 years to double versus 45.
Okay.
So that's what the rule of 72 is. Whatever your interest rate you get, divided by 72, and that's how long it takes your money to double.
Wow. Okay. That was good. That was good. Good way of looking.
Yeah. So go look at your accounts and your interest. Oh, and the opposite. The interest rate on your credit card divided by 72, and that's how long it takes the banks for their money to double.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yes.
Too quick.
Yes.
Well, Vanessa, I will let you go with the next part.
Share with us a little bit about your book and how it can help all of us and educate us a little bit better on our financial status.
Sure. So first of all, I want to say this. I'm not the author of the book, so I want to make that disclaimer. So it's a book called How Money Works, and the subtitle is Stop Being a Sucker. And it's a play on words, and there's a little sarcasm, but it comes from A sucker. A sucker is somebody who's tricked, bamboozled, deceived. And that's what it means. Stop being tricked, bamboozled, deceived. The book is very educational and entertaining. So a middle schooler can read the book and understand the concept. So it's basically talk about the $1 Million Baby, the rule of 72. It talks about these strategies. It breaks down the difference between term and permanent insurance. It covers the 7 money milestones, which is a blueprint. Milestone number 1 is a financial education. Number 2 is a protecting wealth. Proper protection. Number 3 is emergency fund. Number 4 is debt management. 5 is cash flow. 6 is building wealth, and 7 is protecting wealth. And protecting is dealing with wills and trust and those 7 money milestones. So it covers that. So we give out the book for free. There's no charge or obligation. The only obligation is for a person to receive the book. I'll ship out the book directly to a person. They have to sit down with me one-on-one and let me explain the book. And we do basically a financial needs analysis. That's the only requirement, but they do not have to purchase or anything. But we mail the book out to them and then set up an appointment, to go deeper dive in the book and show them how we can apply the principles for their situation.
All right. And how can our listeners and viewers learn more about you and get in touch with you?
Sure. So first of all, they can go to my website. It's troyholt.com, TROYHOLT.com. They can go there, and they can also have my contact information is there. Also, my calendar, they can get on my calendar on the website. The website also has some information on there. It has some presentations. There's presentations that if I do a Zoom presentation, you'll see the presentation that I do. It's numerous presentations. You can go in there and click on them and see. There's a ebook they can click on, newsletters. But also I'm on LinkedIn, heavily on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. And also Facebook. So I'm on social media a lot. I do share a lot on social media. Matter of fact, if you go to LinkedIn, and it's also on Facebook. I do have a Facebook group, How Money Works, TH Consulting Facebook group. You can join that. But also Tuesday, we did it on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And me and a estate planning attorney, we did a live. She's a estate planning attorney in South Florida. This week is National Estate Planning Week. Mm-hmm. And so she shares. She's very knowledgeable. She loves to educate. And so we just did a webinar dealing with estate planning. So which is huge. I mean, it's one of those things. Aretha Franklin, you think about Aretha Franklin, you think about Prince. None of these had estate plans. Chadwick Boseman didn't have estate plans. And so these are big issues. A little tip I want to leave, and I know you guys want to wrap up. A little tip.
No, because I want to ask you about something else, but go right ahead.
Okay, a little tip, since I'm on it, it's not wise to make your minor children as beneficiaries on your life insurance policies. The reason being is because if you pass, a minor cannot accept cash. So what happens is you have to go to court, pay court costs. Whoever is taking over your children, they got to go to court, pay court costs, attorney fees to appoint a guardian for you to get the money, for them to get the money. They will get the money, but it costs more and it's not wise for putting making the minor children the beneficiary. So find somebody who you trust or take care of your children, or you could set up a trust and then put the policy in the trust, and if something happened, but I would consult with a attorney on the trust part, but my recommendation, don't make minor children the beneficiary. All right, question, Yolanda.
That's real good. I'd like to have you back for that part, because
sure.
We as people of color, we don't know. And there's so many of us that do not have a will. There's so many of us that have no clue really what the trust is all about. The pros and cons about just doing a will and not having it. But I would really, and I know Vanessa would too, and we have another guest that is in this. Women of color, being in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
but educating more women
Mm-hmm.
about the stock market, that would be really helpful to have you back. And we have to understand too that a lot of the language terms that are used in the stock
Mm-hmm.
market is to bring that fear in our
Mm-hmm.
minds and confusion on how the stock market works, what to look for, the ins and outs, knowing when to pull your money out, when to sell this and go into others. But if you will, I know I'm putting it out there now, but if you will come back and talk with us about the stock market, I would
So
really love that.
let me say this, Yolanda. So the stock market is not my lane. I stay in my lane. Now, I will say this. I had license years ago. Originally, when I started American Express, I had the Series 7, so I could deal with stocks. But what I found is stocks is most of the people that I knew didn't have stocks. They may have had a 401k. And so it was one of those things that I wanted to keep paying money for, to keep renewing my license, and I wasn't getting the ROI. Now I can bring somebody on that's their lanes. My lane is on the life side, and I tell people like this. So there's some people that are argue invested in the stock market versus using an insurance policy. I like using the insurance policy because you don't have to pay capital gains tax.
True.
You don't have to worry about losses. I didn't tell you about that part. With the growth in the insurance policy, you'll never lose the principal. So you don't have to worry about the losses. Now, should a person not invest in stock? No. So this is how I look at it. So everybody's they have a goal they're trying to reach, and they're trying to build this house. And so building a house, you need tools. So a hammer, a saw, and a drill, all those are tools. Each tool has a particular function and a particular purpose. No tool is better than the other. It just has a particular function and purpose.
Right.
Stocks is a tool. The life insurance is a tool. Just my lane is on the life insurance side. I don't use that tool. But I think people should have all the tools if they have the disposable income and they can suffer the loss, have a little bit of all, because you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. That's my philosophy.
Yeah. And patience. It takes patience.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I mean, and we'll get into this later.
Yeah.
I'll come back and be able to have your advisor that you recommend to come back for us. It is so good for us to have the knowledge, to be educated on what's out there, because we're missing out on many great opportunities. And that is what Vanessa and I are all about, is educating, bringing forth the knowledge that is needed to at least get you thinking, to get you motivated, into being able to do better for yourself, for your family, and for those that you're leaving behind. You want to be able to know and be able to do the very best that you can do. And with that, Troy, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you to those of you who are watching and listening. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please contact us on our social media outlets. And please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as we don't want you to miss out on any of our great topics or our amazing guests. We will see you all soon.